Have you ever felt that fire in your belly, that unshakable pull towards something, even when everything seems to be working against you? Let me tell you a story about a girl, a rickety race car, and a spirit that just wouldn't quit. Her name was Alara, and for her, the racetrack wasn't just asphalt and checkered flags. It was her entire world. Her car, lovingly nicknamed the Comet, was anything but stellar. It was a patchwork of salvaged parts, held together by sheer willpower and a lot of duct tape. The engine coughed more than it roared. The paint was a faded memory of its former glory, and the tires, well, they'd seen better decades. Every time she took a corner, one of the rollers would wobble ominously, a high-pitched, grinding sound that sent shivers down her spine. She'd pull over, her heart pounding, and with trembling fingers, she'd tighten the bearings. She knew they were old, dangerously old. The metal was fatigued, worn thin from countless rotations, countless races she barely finished. Any sensible person would have retired the Comet. They would have hung up their helmet and called it a day. But Alara wasn't sensible, not when it came to racing. To her, sitting out a race was a fate worse than any mechanical failure. The silence of the sidelines was more deafening than the roar of 20 engines. The stillness of watching others chase their dreams was more painful than any wobble or grind from her faithful, flawed machine. Her friends and fellow racers saw her struggle. They saw the grease permanently etched under her fingernails, the tired lines around her eyes from sleepless nights spent under the hood. One day, a veteran mechanic, a guy named Sal who had seen it all, watched her wrestle with a stubborn bolt. He walked over, wiping his hands on a rag. "Kid," he said, his voice gruff but not unkind, "why do you do this to yourself, this car? It's a heartache on wheels. Why keep trying when the odds are so stacked against you?" Alara paused, her breath catching in her throat. She looked up from the greasy engine bay, her gaze distant, fixed on the empty track shimmering in the afternoon sun. A small, sad smile touched her lips. She didn't look at Sal, but at the horizon, at the finish line, she could see so clearly in her mind. And in a voice barely above a whisper, a voice so full of raw honesty it made Sal's breath catch, she said, "Because stopping hurts more than losing." That one sentence, it hung in the air between them, thick with meaning. It wasn't about winning, not really. It wasn't about the trophies or the prize money. For Alara, it was about the motion. It was about the fight. It was about being in the race, being a part of the chaos, the speed, the possibility. Losing was a temporary sting, a disappointment that would fade with the setting sun. But stopping, quitting, that was a permanent ache, a deep, hollow wound that would fester in her soul forever. It was the quiet admission that the dream was dead. And Alara wasn't ready to let her dream die. This story isn't just about a girl and her car. It's about every single one of us who has a passion, a dream that seems impossible. It's for the artist with a blank canvas and a head full of doubt. It's for the writer staring at a blinking cursor, wondering if their words will ever matter. It is for the entrepreneur pouring their life savings into a business that might not make it past the first year. It's for anyone who has ever been told to be realistic, to give up, to choose the easier path. We all have our own wobbly rollers, don't we? The parts of our lives or our projects that are flawed, that threaten to send us spinning off course. It could be a lack of resources, a shortage of time, the criticism of others, or just our own internal fears screaming at us to quit. It's so easy to look at those obstacles and decide it's not worth it. It's logical, even. Why pour your heart and soul into something that might just end in failure? But Alara's words echo a profound truth. The pain of giving up on something you love is a different kind of pain. It's not the sharp, clean pain of a loss. It's the dull, chronic ache of regret. It's the what if that haunts you in the quiet moments. What if I had tried one more time? What if I had just tightened that wobbly roller and gotten back on the track? What if I had ignored the odds and just kept driving? The fear of losing can be paralyzing. It makes us play it safe, but what if we reframed our perspective? What if, like Ilara, we saw the act of trying as the victory itself? Every time she tightened those bearings and got back in the race, she was winning. She was defeating the voice that told her to quit. She was choosing motion over stillness, hope over despair. She was honoring the fire inside her. Think about your own life. What is your racetrack? What is your comet? Maybe it's a skill you've always wanted to learn, a creative project you've kept hidden in a drawer, a career change you're too scared to make. It might seem old, rickety, and far from perfect. You might see all the reasons it could fail. But I want you to ask yourself this: what would hurt more? Trying and potentially failing, or never trying at all and spending the rest of your life wondering what could have been? The world is full of people who stopped. They let the wobbly rollers win. They parked their dreams in the garage and let them gather dust. And while their lives might be stable and predictable, there's a certain spark that's missing. The spark that comes from the struggle, from pushing your limits, from getting back up after you've been knocked down. Ilara's journey teaches us that passion isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up day after day with your trembling fingers and your worn out parts and giving it everything you've got. It's about finding the courage to face the possibility of losing because, deep in your bones, that the real loss would be to never even try. So the next time you feel that wobble, that moment of doubt when you're about to take a corner in your own life, I want you to think of Ilara. I want you to hear her whisper, because stopping hurts more than losing. Tighten your resolve, take a deep breath, and get back on the track. The race isn't over until you decide it is. Keep driving, your finish line is waiting. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing this moment with me. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt that same fire, let me know in the comments below. What's the dream you refuse to give up on? I'd love to hear about it. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that I hope will inspire you to keep chasing your own checkered flag. Until next time, keep the engine running.